Hey guys, tonight we embark on a whimsical journey through the cosmos as we breathe life into a little known chapter of Greek mythology, the time Hera decided the divine talent show would be the ultimate entertainment. Envision the night sky dotted with constellations, each twinkling star a front row seat to this majestic, albeit chaotic evening. The gods, usually preoccupied with their celestial duties, are beckoned from their thrones by Hera's calls. You might be thinking this should be an epic gathering with gods baking pies or doing acrobatics. But you probably won't survive this from sheer boredom or laughter. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Before we drift deeper, let me know where you're tuning in from and what time it is in your corner of the world. Now dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. Picture Hera, the queen of Olympus, draped in robes that shimmer with moonlight, standing atop Mount Olympus. She's weaving a fantastical night of entertainment, a showcase of the divinity's more human side, or as she hopes, a showcase of their hidden talents. Why a talent show, you might ask? Perhaps being married to Zeus, the all-powerful and slightly capricious king of the gods, makes one thirst for some self-directed drama. While historians still argue whether Hera was genuinely interested in discovering talents or was just bored of the usual godly feasts, one thing's for sure, this night was bound to be legendary. Hera's voice echoes across Olympus, sweeter than honey yet commanding attention. Gather, glorious deities, for an enchanting evening where you, yes you, will showcase the talents even the muses covet. She claps her hands lightly, and with a flick of her wrist, the sky is blanketed in velvety darkness, lit by thousands of shimmering stars. The stage is set. At this divine summoning, the gods begin to assemble, each descending in a flash of light or gust of wind. There's Athena with her owl firmly perched, looking slightly skeptical, probably wondering if the time could be better spent polishing her shield or strategizing the next war council. Hermes, ever the prankster, arrives with a jaunty flip, his eyes already glinting with mischief. Apollo strums a note on his lyre, setting the cosmic theme for the evening, while Ares, ever boisterous, arrives sword in hand, ready to convert this genteel gathering into a battlefield if things don't amuse him. Zeus, from his cloud-hued throne, glances sideways at Hera, raising an eyebrow, a subtle demonstration of his skepticism. Thunder rumbles faintly in the background, as if his eyes alone could conjure a storm. Still, he remains silent, permitting his wife this indulgence. Generally, the king of gods prefers the sound of lightning bolts cracking across the sky to the alternating pitches of a talent show, but even he is curious about how this celestial soiree might unfold. As Artemis glides in on a crescent moonbeam, admiring the night's decor, you might notice Hestia understated, but content flickering warmth into the hearth, a comforting sign of the calm before what may be a night of unexpected storms. Gathered in a semicircle, each god and goddess breathes life into the eternal space, both their presence and powers lending a charming contradiction to what Hera promises as a night of supposed harmony and talent. And thus begins the orchestration of Hera's heavenly vision, a scene bustling with potential, promising laughter, talent, and perhaps a dose of divine chaos. What will become of the gods and their performances on this unpredictable night? Time will tell as these myths of mundane moments unfurl under the watchful eyes of stars and mortals alike, awaiting tales that both amuse and endure. As Hera's show begins to gather its indomitable momentum, you can imagine Zeus slumping further into his grandiose throne, the very essence of reluctant attendance. Hera's plea for a divine talent show elicited nothing less than a cascade of rolling eyes from her thunderous spouse. One might even say that, if Olympus were not an ethereal place, the king of gods' annoyance could be heard as a distant rumble across the mortal plains. Zeus, typically one to revel in the grandiose splendor of his own thunderous displays, found Hera's artistic aspiration to be at odds with his own reign. A talent show? You can almost hear him mutter under his breath, the deep baritone mingling skeptically with the surrounding ether. Who ever heard of showcasing talents that are not lightning related? His ever-present lightning bolt rests lazily beside him, a stark reminder of his preference for subduing drama with a spark and an earth-shaking roar. You might imagine him, resigned to spend what could otherwise be a leisurely evening with Ganymede refreshing his chalice, enmeshed among the lesser appreciation of song and dance. Yet there he sits, pondering what sort of spectacle might emerge from Aphrodite's paintbox or Ares' fondness for war cries. Hera, keenly aware of Zeus's visible distaste, executes an elaborate pivot, a conjuring of the orchestral wave that filled the autumn breeze with something less imposing, more gentle. It is a soundscape not designed to duel, but to dupe the senses into accepting something new. If Olympian ears were the skies themselves, then surely their whispers brought new constellations sparkling to life, and perhaps, in this softened ambience, Zeus's own heart might yield to the unassuming charm of novelty, though you suspect he might remain, at least outwardly, perfectly grumpy. Athena arrives in earnest, propositioning to start a lineup, compelling in both wisdom and demeanor. Not one to stray from decisive measures, she opts for the role of organizer, matching Hera's grandiose ambition with a dose of Olympian operational efficiency. Yet like crafting a statue before its marble is hewn, even her undefeated logic struggles against the bounds of celestial whimsy running rampant. Zeus's countenance shifts as Athena takes the lead, her goddess stature unmatched except by her command of reason, mind ever sharpened to an acumen that could pierce any troubling air. Perhaps he muses, Hera's raucous idea has sprouted merit, if only because Athena might impinge upon it with some reason, and provide the show with worthier dimensions. It is this shared dynamic that permeates between Hera and Zeus, an amalgamation of regal regality spiced with a touch of begrudging acceptance, punctuated at intervals by Hera's unrelenting enthusiasm and Zeus's thunderous sighs. Each participant's intervention waves aside the disdain with a flourish of creative provocation, whether imagined or inherent in their divine core. You might chuckle how this microcosmic family drama plays out among the ethereal and divine, so simultaneously extraordinary but recognizably mundane, a peek into how even gods themselves grapple with our everyday struggles of getting everyone to agree on a Saturday night plan. Zeus may quietly envision a closing act where thunder is the only applause, but Hera, stalwart and unyielding, remains determined that mere theatrics will not silence her ambitious harmony. The seduction of myth lingers heavy in the air, ready to unfold tales of comedic genius, if only the assembled deliver the spectacle worthy of their assembled gaze. For here on this celestial plane, Hera's orchestrated dreams gleam amid pulsating stars, and as she looks upon Zeus with a hint of mischief adorning her divine gaze, you imagine the evening slipping from boredom into unexpectedly grand delight. Athena, ever the picture of composed confidence, steps forth to take charge of the evening's proceedings, her gilded armor catching the soft glow of moonlight. You watch her wade through a sea of boisterous deities, each more preoccupied with their own reflections or predictions on what chaos might unfold. With a wave of her hand, Athena summons her owl, a creature whose feathers seem to shimmer with hidden wisdom. The owl perches calmly on Athena's shoulder, its eyes twinkling brighter than any of the stars above them. Hera, observing from her seat, finds an unexpected ally in Athena's orderly resolve. "Let us start with auditions," Athena declares, her voice carrying just the right mix of command and encouragement. Her owl gives a small hoot, as if seconding her statement, though you can't help but imagine it's muttering something wiser or even sarcastic beneath its breath. As deities find their places, a makeshift stage forms from clouds and stardust, and there Athena stands clipboard in hand, ready to sift through talents like shells upon the shores of Olympus. But as any good host knows, not everyone reads the script. The audience, full of Olympian lifeblood, bubbles with excitement, and whispers of anticipation thread through the air. Yet the startled jump aside, it's clear that some deities have wildly different interpretations of talent. Take, for instance, Hera's son Ares, who promptly insists on auditioning first, his martial stature carved from bronze bravado claws through any silence. The god of war stomps forward, sword glinting in arm, ready to showcase what he decrees to be a dazzling, if not explosive, exhibition of war prowess. Athena, perhaps in part due to some sisterly obligation, acquiesces with a nod, her owl giving a dubious blink that could suggest it knows through ancestral wisdom what tumult war brings. Before any heads turn, Ars erupts into a series of exaggerated battle drills, his impression taut and fierce. His body moves in fluid aggression, and you can almost feel the earth tremble beneath the sheer force of his self-importance. Yet in stark contrast to the deafening stomps and fierce yells is the airy laughter and light-hearted shouts from his Olympian audience. This isn't Sparta, this is a night of wasted wine glasses sloshing libations at the whim of divine hilarity. Athena, darling, shouldn't we save the sword fights for later? Jokes Hermes with a mock seriousness that echoes across the gallery. Athena turns to Hermes, pondering the virtues of this jest, her owl giving a soft hoot as if in agreement with the narrative comic. The god of war's eyes narrow slightly, but even ours, the oft misunderstood protagonist of many a stirring battle, can't help but snatch a chuckle at the good-natured ribbing. The affair proceeds with inventive auditions, each more disparate than the last. Hera's vision for a talent show seems to transform, morphing into an impromptu theatre of the impossible, and it is not long before deities from every nook of Olympus step forward to share their skills, or attempts at mastering them. Despite the chaos of battle drills and thunderous rhetoric, these auditions begin to blend the charm of lesser-known myth, where every god takes a turn and lends their energies, if not talents, to the marriage of entertainment and spectacle. Amidst this celestial flurry, Athena casts a discerning eye, an overseer weaving structure into the chaos. As the queen of Olympus sits back, watching her divine tapestry unfold, you catch Hera's reflection gleaming in the flickering hearthlight, not as a mere backdrop but a resolute keeper of her celestial narrative unspooling joy from the strand of myth that wends onward to tomorrow. As the auditions draw to a close, Athena's clipboard is full of notes both glowing and otherwise, history being made with every tick of her elegant owl quill pen. Her owl nocturnal eyes as ever vigilant, seems to nod approvingly at the gatherings and the pageantry. With no audience here immune to myth's enchantment, each god steps with promise into the dawn-touched haze to become, even if briefly, a woven story amid the sprawling constellation of shared dreams. As the auditions wind down, the air grows hushed with anticipation, for now it's Apollo's turn to grace the stage. The golden-haired god, known for his charisma and musical prowess, offers what promises to be the evening's melodious centerpiece. Imagine his radiant presence as he steps forward, wielding his lyre, a gleaming instrument capable of coaxing tears from the most stoic of mortals. Apollo exudes confidence, the sort that etches itself into the foundation of myths, where heroics court harmonies. With a flourish, his fingers dance across the strings, unleashing a symphony that seems to blend with the starlit sky. For a moment, all of Olympus holds its breath, wrapped in a silken cocoon of sound. Yet in a twist befitting the capriciousness of gods, Apollo's charms meet, let's say a shrug from the divine audience, proof that even celestial melodies sometimes flutter away unnoticed. Perhaps it's the ambient distraction of giggles from Aphrodite or snickers from Hermes, but for all his mastery, Apollo finds his performance greeted with more wry amusement than heartfelt admiration. This, you realize, is part and parcel of life among the gods. What delights the mortal often leaves the immortal bemused. Despite the twinge of Apollo's crestfallen expression, it's clear the culture of Olympus thrives on the unexpected. Rather than the haunting echoes of a lyre, the air carries with it a hearty laugh that fills the space, a divine embrace wrapping humor around hubris. It's here that Hera, never losing sight of the show's ultimate aim, to amuse, to gather, to bind, offers a gentle clap, joined gradually by the others. Bravo, Apollo! Hera exclaims, voice warm with encouragement, an assurance that today, charm matters more than perfection, comedy more than competition. Zeus, observing this short-lived tableau, lifts a golden goblet, half a grin touching his lips. Undoubtedly recalling the countless times holding sway over storms was as much about mastering moments of futility as power. You might even picture him shaking his head slightly at the antics. But can you hear his deep-throated chuckle carried lightly on the breeze? As Apollo exits the stage, not unscathed but wiser for it, Hermes sidles up with a jest on the tip of his tongue. My friend, perhaps the next time, A few notes of humility in thy song. Hermes' grin is irrepressible, a flicker of mischief bright enough to echo across the ages. Apollo's reply is a simple shrug and a cheeky smile, as if to say that even gods are entitled to their off days. After all, blindness to their own foibles is a recurring theme, and these detours through human humility endure as the backbone of many a myth. In the wake of Apollo's musical stint, the crowd engages in friendly banter, sparks of wit and humor dancing as brilliantly as any Olympic fire. It's an interplay of intimacies. These deities share stories and laughter. Expressions turn to theater in the hands of their imagination. Nestled within this ebb and flow, Hera's talent show continues, a grand tapestry where skill, laughter, and the foibles of gods weave endlessly alongside the strand of time itself. We find perhaps that even amidst a showcase of mixed results, there's a beauty, a unity found not only in polished performance, but in the shared experience of uncertainty and laughter. And as the sky lightens, eyelids grow heavy under the spell of evening's embrace, and the story of the gods unfolds in laughter and light, the celestial gazette where rumor and enjoys what has been and what is yet to unfurl. As Hera watches Apollo take his seat, the evening thickens with the comfortable murmur of conversations. It's not the result she planned, but perhaps, just perhaps, the night is all the more special for it. In this celestial forum, stories aren't just told, they're lived anew, in every note gone astray, every laugh shared. Now the stage belongs to Ares, the god of war. As he strides forward, a palpable energy bristles through the crowd, part curiosity, part disbelief after all, who expects the bellicose god to indulge in what can only be described as an interpretive battle dance. Yet here he is, ready to unveil an unexpected facet of divine excitement. Picture Ares' robust frame encased in polished armor, each piece gleaming as though freshly forged by Hephaestus himself. Perhaps you've seen a peacock strut with less fanfare. Ares wears his martial elegance with a flourish, and right here in the whimsical heart of Olympus, anything seems possible. As the celestial spotlight swings toward him, Ares clutches his signature sword, not for combat today but for spectacle. His movement across the stage resembles a choreography echoing the rhythm of mythic battles, his expression one of eager intensity. The music accompanying him, imagine if you will, a simmer of cymbals, a heartbeat of drums, rhythms that mark the march of war, yet tailor each beat to dance. It's not long before chaos plays its hand. Clanks and scrapes ring loud as Ares' armor moves out of synchrony, its concert overture clashing with his earnest steps. Here is Ares, the mighty warrior, suddenly less intimidating, more endearing, as the bard of combat meets the comedian of Olympus. Despite Ares' own rising frustration, laughter trickles through the audience like the babbling brook of a peaceful meadow. Even Zeus' stern demeanor softens marginally, and Hera, ever the gracious host, hides a smile behind her hand. It seems our war god has discovered a symphony of his own, she quips, nudging Athena gently as she speaks. If you've ever watched a small child wrapped in impromptu theatrics, you understand the magnificent struggle Ares faces trying to don the mantle of dancer. And yet endearingly Ares carries on, undeterred and undaunted. Of course, should despair find root, and should any warrior be so easily bested by mere laughter, their bravado would shatter. As the routine peaks with a discordant flourish, Ares brings his performance full circle, endearingly oblivious to the edges of his capabilities. You can imagine allies and rivals alike joining together in a shared ovation, a testament to this evening's unexpected victories, where unity is forged in laughter as surely as it is tempered by war. Hermes leans in again, gentle humor lacing his words. Next time, my good Ares, perhaps a tad less armor. A dance best lived light on one's feet. And there's a twinkle in Hermes' eye, for where would camaraderie linger but in jest? Ares accepts the good-natured tease with a bemused nod. This is just Olympus after all. As deities applaud, it becomes strikingly clear this divine gathering is no mere performance. It's a celebration not just of talent, but of humility, of divine togetherness, a shared cosmos where even godly endeavors tangle with human imperfections. The seamless blending of these elements lends itself to the mythology, ensuring their legacy will not soon be forgotten. With Ares taking his seat, his face a shade of glory worn and shared, an irreplaceable part of this celestial fable concludes. Every irreverent moment here exudes a joy that transcends perfection itself. Hovering among the stars till day is a new and myths whisper once more. In this auditorium of the heavens, Hera's talent show is proving more poignant than she ever envisioned. A testament delivered not by flawless innovation, but through the enduring comforts of the unexpected, the perfect blend of myth and whimsy, godhood and humanity. As the ethereal dust of Ares' armor-clad performance settles, a different kind of allure takes center stage. Aphrodite, the goddess of love and beauty herself, glides forward, a vision so radiant that even the stars seem to hold their breath in admiration. Her task tonight, you wonder? A beauty routine, as much a spectacle as a statement, questioning if such allure could honestly be dubbed a talent at all. Aphrodite's presence is an embrace that turns the inquisitive eye, yet here she stands ready to prove that charm itself might wield its own grace, perhaps even more compelling than a sharpened sword. She begins with a mirror in one hand and in the other an ornate brush, the very embodiment of elegance refracted in celestial form. As she starts to weave her allure, a ritual of beauty mysteries, you can't help but see the playfulness in her eyes. It's a performance reminiscent of today's makeup tutorials, complete with knowing winks and aloe-whispered secrets from the gods. A dash of ambrosia here, she quips with a wink, adding a mock seriousness to her tone. And you'll have the beauty to launch 1,000 ships. Hera, ever the appreciative host, observes with a knowing smile. After all, Olympus knows well how to turn even the humdrum into a kind of divine glamour. What emerges isn't just the beauty of Aphrodite's visage, but the chorus of commentary that follows, both bemused and admiring. Truly, dear sister, Athena's voice carries warmth laced with mirth. Does one need divine intervention to recreate? She gestures broadly. Perfection. The audience, a tapestry of admiration mixed with gentle jests, nods along, sharing secrets from the sidelines as if conspiring together in Aphrodite's routine. On another divine stage, this playful debate prefacing beauty's truth riffles through the crowd, with historians still arguing whether beauty is a talent or merely an inherited cosmic gift. As it stands, Aphrodite's art is one of admiration, a radiant sheen drawn from a palette of myth and admiration, equal parts crafted and absolute. Despite any sidelong debates among the gods, Aphrodite's presentation draws to a close, her final flourish a picture framed by her own gleaming smile, a victory painted in hues of celestial light. There stands Aphrodite, not only the goddess of beauty but tonight, a master of transformative joy, held by the charm of her own enduring myth. Grateful and amused, Hermes emerges again, bearing comments not for discord but for good cheer. Remember, my beloved Aphrodite, if love's labor flies with Cupid's wings, then surely time is best spent with those earthly mirrors. His humor falls kindly, light as Aphrodite's own laughter carried on an invisible wind. In the wake of her victorious display, admiration lingers palpable, written in each shimmer and shade cast through the scene. Even Zeus, who remains largely an audience of inscrutable thunder, nods slightly in acknowledgement, a testament to beauty's unyielding sway over both myth and mortality. As Aphrodite returns to her seat, settle into the knowledge that her performance is more than the sum of its parts, a reflection not merely of perfection, but the gleam of immaculate imperfection, refracted by the lens of comradeship and laughter. Hera scans her assembly, an understanding smile fixed to her lips, a mixture of pride buoying her gaze. Her celestial soiree, teeming with talent in its many guises, flows as effortlessly as a river meeting the sea. Each performance, whether by musical mastery, martial might, or enchanting beauty, contributes a chapter to this ongoing epic, written not in gold or stone but in smiles and stories that long after this eve will echo through eternity. And so the stage sets once more, ready to embrace the next tale in this divine journey, a truth that weaves itself not just with deities of repute, but with the moments they share, our very own glimpses of the celestial world wrapped in mirth and mythology. As the applause for Aphrodite's enchanting performance fades into the ether, Hermes, the fleet-footed messenger of the gods, leaps onto the stage with an enthusiasm that suggests a mind delighting in mischief, awaiting its unveiling. Grinning widely, he clutches his famed winged sandals, ready not just to fly, but to dazzle his peers with a true trickster's showcase. known for his cunning and cleverness. Hermes is poised to transform this gathering with sleight-of-hand tricks that would confound even the sharpest of mortal minds. In the realm of gods, where power often trumps charm, his talent lies in the nimble dance of illusion, a rare blend of guile and agility befitting a bard more than a messenger crowned with celestial duty. Picture this: with a flick of his wrist, Hermes performs a simple disappearing act, leaving a hawk's feather shimmering in mid-air before vanishing it once more. The feathers glisten under the celestial lights, a stunning distraction serving as a proxy for Hermes' more riveting acts to come. The gods watch with smiles broadening, whispers passing among them like waves whispering secrets to the shore. Next, Hermes sends a silver coin clinking across his fingertips. It spins, catches light, and when it lands, transformed into a golden laurel wreath, much to his audience's delight. Here in the heart of Olympus, Hermes' play catches even the most divine of observers off guard, tickling intellects while playing on our intrinsic love and the nature of perception itself. A sharp glance at Zeus, to whom Hermes is ever the loyal aid, receives an appreciative nod, tacit approval buoyed by a humor mismatched with Zeus's typical thunderous expressions. It is these subtle exchanges, these looks thrown like gleaming arrows across chambers, that breathe life into myth's grandest tales. As Hermes' stage command reaches its peak, he introduces a game of miraculous juggling, a trick not unbearably rare, except for the elements he chooses. Flames as bright as the sun, spinning by his deft hands without pause or singe. Hold your breath, for here lies the internal debate, how a thing so simple retains its wonder, and why we humans often awe before tricks of magi, even as their wizards revel in their simplest form. When his hands deftly catch the cascading flames, extinguishing each without a sound, the stage is silent for a moment. Silence begets anticipation, which in turn conjures awe manifest through applause. Hermes, ever charming, bows deeply, basking in this moment of acknowledgement, before offering an exaggerated wink at his captivated audience. While some gods might fear losing favor through plain tricks, Hermes thrives on this medium of delight. Behind the jokes and the ease of his satire lies a deeper understanding, a symbiotic relationship with humility, highlighting how even the simplest joys can surmount mountain peaks. As he retires from his makeshift stage, he is met with a rush of camaraderie, as well as the inevitable post-performance jest. Dionysus, taking a swig from his ever-bountiful cup, gibingly remarks, "Well played, Hermes. Next time I insist you borrow some of my wine to vanish." It adds a certain nie sequoia to the act. A hearty laugh rings through the hall, simultaneously shared by every architect of myth. The air thrums with the lightness that follows the feats performed under the watchful eyes of the cosmos. Here, sharing in a brotherhood of both grand designs and simple marvels, the gods display that even cosmic gatherings prize the innocent sincerity of pure delight. As night deepens its hold, knowing that the light of day will grace this gathering soon, Hera senses that each act is a building block to something larger and profoundly serendipitous. This is not just a show, but a divine tapestry woven with threads of whimsy and whim, an immortal tale for an earthly experience. And so through this divine exchange, Hermes leaves his mark on this enchanted eve, reinforcing the notion that true wonder is often not in what one sees, but how one dares to believe. With the echoes of Hermes' enchanting trickery still fresh, Hephaestus steps forward, his presence marked by the resonant clanging of his forge-bound implements. The god of blacksmiths, renowned for crafting artifacts of legendary power and beauty, kneels not to perform simple acts, but to showcase a feat of engineering marvel, a mechanical contraption wrought from divine ingenuity. Picture Hephaestus, a figure seemingly sculpted from bronze and earth, his every movement deliberate, each action speaking of labor unmatched in the mortal realm. He arrives with a device not unlike a miniature Rube Goldberg machine, a complex symphony of levers, gears, and pulleys, each component nested perfectly within the other like layers of an intricate story. As the device stirs to life, its inner workings hum quietly, igniting in wondrous sequence, first the rolling of a silver marble, then a blaze of tiny flames, a cascade of water that spins a wheel in rhythmic motion. Such precision and inventiveness provoke admiration from the watching eyes of Olympus. The allure isn't just in what it achieves, but in the sublime choreography between its moving parts, each cog a player in this mechanical ballet. One can't help but be reminded of Hephaestus' famed creations that grace both Olympus and legend, whether it's the armor of Achilles or the chains that bound Prometheus. Within them lies the echo of perfection against imperfection. He of all the gods is perhaps most in touch with both creation's burdens and blessings, the things dreamt by night and wrought by day. While some observers attempt to decipher the machine's end, others watch in sheer amusement, charmed by the spectacle of its journey. Poseidon, chortling quietly, nudges Athena. "Sister, I'd wager even this machine plots against the tide." His jest, woven with fondness, drapes like an endearing thread across the communal cloth. Hephaestus' eyes are alive with the fire of a creator, his gaze intent upon the mechanism as it performs its slow, harmonious dance. The complexity and creativity offer a reminder of the everyday magic hidden in both the divine and the mundane, still clinging to every synchronous motion like thoughts just shy of revelation. Caught in this moment of engineering grace, Zeus shifts with measured interest, his typical thunderous manner diluted to murmurs in the presence of art formed from thought and alloy. If any drama were too weighed past divine demeanor, it is snuffed under the glow of Hephaestus' diligence. For Hephaestus, this performance is a testament to unseen art, an offering of creativity that bridges hearth and craftsman in ever more rich tales of power seen and unseen. As the final component clicks into place, signaling the conclusion of its cyclical journey, a resounding applause from his fellow gods reverberates through the chamber, both praise and playful jest, echoing through the cosmos. Apollo steps up, a teasing grin lighting his features. "My dear Hephaestus, do teach me. I reckon if one learns the art of your trickery, wooing nymphs might be child's play." The laughter that follows is warm, affectionate, as eternal as the stars overhead. Through this hearty exchange, harmony in simplicity mirrors the ethos that even the unseen gears within the divine fill their roles, not as grand omens but humble revelries. Hera, duly pleased, nods approvingly, weaving each contribution like threads of silk into this unwieldy yet vibrant tapestry of shared myth. The gods bask in the satisfaction of artistic camaraderie, a creation uniting as dreams unfurl and laughter draws them close. Here at the intersection of fervor and mythos, Hephaestus' invention stands not as a mere contraption but a dialogue, seasoned with marvels at each human touch link, from forge to celestial stage. In this celestial conclave, it appears that every contribution, from jovial jests to monumental creativity, holds equal valor. Each lends itself to the night's eternal narrative. For in Hera's divine dreamscape, where gods gather in a chorus of talent, the true wonder remains how these individual harmonies rise to form a symphony, forever echoing in celestial dreams. With Hephaestus' mechanical ingenuity drawing its curtain call, the stage is soon claimed by Poseidon, the mighty ruler of the seas. His entrance is heralded by a gentle ripple echoing with the scent of brine, as if the ocean itself had sent forth a breeze to gather in his wake. Known for his tempestuous disposition, Poseidon presents himself with an uncharacteristic gleam of mischief in his eye, a sure sign that this water-themed showcase will be as unexpected as the rest of the evening's splendors. Ever the showman on this rare occasion, Poseidon signals with a dramatic flourish, followed by the steady pulse of a tidal rhythm, crafting an impromptu symphony from water itself. The main event, a glorious water show, gods and goddess alike watching with rapt attention as streams of water rise and dance to Poseidon's silent commands. Imagine, if you will, the water itself spiraling upwards, forming fantastical shapes like oceanic tendrils spiraling toward the heavens, a liquid ballet conducted by the sea god's hand. Each arc and cascade is a display of grace, a testament to Poseidon's mastery over both depth and spectacle. Yet amidst the beauty of these aqueous formations, comedic chaos quickly unfolds, a rogue splash here, an overzealous wave there. The enchanted water, perhaps caught in the moment's tide, decides on its own course, resulting in a merriment of unexpected saturated mishaps. As droplets liberally dot the celestial amphitheater, deities are caught unprepared, splashes echoing with jovial surprise. You can almost hear Hermes yelp in false indignation, the affected scamp, while Dionysus lifts his chalice, greeting Poseidon's staged trickery with a splendid cheer, a toast to tides unquenched. Even Zeus, with his stern visage, yields to this unscheduled levity, affording a thunderous chuckle that resonates far beyond the heavenly halls. To the gods, dunked and dripping, the transient ordination of Poseidon's spectacle unfolds, a parody of grandeur undone by the water's free spirit. As the show comes to a hilarious and drenched conclusion, Hera raises an eyebrow at Poseidon, a smile tugging at her lips. It seems even Olympus's master of seas cannot predict where his subjects will flow, she teases, eliciting the chuckles and nods of her fellow immortals. In the spirit of the evening, this splashy conclusion is met with roaring laughter and applause, a testament to the spontaneity running rampant through these divine veins. Poseidon takes a gracious bow, remarkably unperturbed by the fluid foil to his watery whims, perhaps even savoring the spectacle of unpredictability that contrasts with his otherwise solemn domain under the waves. Amid this tidal display, there emerges a shared camaraderie, a playful narrative woven amongst gods who revel not just in power, but in the missteps that make their existence memorable, a celebration of mythology's capacity to transform each ripple into a cherished fable, with Poseidon's waterworks now a favored memory of the night, as memorable as Ares' clanking armor or Hephaestus' mechanical marvel. This tale continues its lively course, subtly adjusted by each new spectacle's resonance across Olympus. As celestial droplets dry amidst the gathering warmth of divine mirth, Hera looks on, a tapestry of talent emerging from the confluence of gods and their whims. It's here, amid laughter and surprise, that her assembled pantheon remains more bound by shared stories than by the sum of their deific dominion, a mythos written gleefully in the annals of time. While the water finds rest and celestial robes are gently wrung free from Poseidon's lively mischief, the audience settles back into anticipation, eager for yet another chapter in this interwoven series of magic and myth. Thus, as the night stretches tenderly towards morning, the lingering echoes of Poseidon's splashy serenade seal this story within the ever-evolving annals of divine narrative, making it a night to remember, through laughter and tales unfold. As the joyous echoes of Poseidon's aqueous antics gradually calm Demeter, the nurturing goddess of grain and harvests makes her way onto the ever-ready stage. Her presence, a serene balm to the evening's earlier mischief, radiates a comforting aura, as if the earth itself had whispered reassurances to the gathered congregation of gods. Demeter's intent under the starlit sky is clear, to perform a spectacle of growth, a symphony that celebrates the cycles of life and the verdant beauty burgeoning forth from every fertile seed. Gently, she places her hands upon the earth, her fingertips caressing the soil that holds the promise of spring within its depths. With a tender smile, Demeter begins her miracle of cultivation. Before the audience's awestruck gaze, sprouts break through the celestial land, their green tendrils weaving tapestries across the stage. Each sprout unfurls into a vibrant bloom, golden grains swaying like whispered secrets shared among old friends. For a time Olympus sits enraptured, each god and goddess silently recalling their own connection to the earth's bounty, the source of life cherished by mortals and divines alike. But just like Poseidon's waterworks, nature has ways of reminding us of its whimsical autonomy. What begins as a controlled flourish soon spirals into an untamed wilderness. Blossoms and vines grow more ambitious, their reach sprawling unchecked across the stage, encroaching upon the gods, now part of an unplanned tapestry of flora. A soft chuckle arises from the crowd, floating alongside Demeter's exclamations of surprise as a particularly audacious vine playfully twirls itself around Ares' armored leg. His mock scowl transitions into laughter when he realizes he's become the unwilling centerpiece of this lively arboretum. As laughter rings out, Demeter's eyes widen, and her attempt to tame this vibrant jungle is a comedy of its own. Yet amid this chaotic beauty, the audience finds the atmospheric tapestry amusing, if not totally delightful. Her daughter, Persephone, who watches from the front row, offers a supportive smile, aware that both fertility and folly sometimes twine like ivy, seamless and indivisible. It seems, Persephone muses aloud, a hint of mischief in her voice, that mother can bring spring not just to mortals, but to those assembled in divine saturation. With a gentle gesture, Demeter reigns in this verdant explosion, coaxing the greenery back to a gentle flourish, leaving a more peaceful, enchanting garden in its place. In this softened landscape, roots once more retract, but not before ethereally embellishing robes, dappled now with petals and greens, a gentle reminder of nature's splendid and unpredictable prowess. This theatre of cultivation, with its unanticipated turn, becomes yet one more shared tale, a testament to how each talent holds a dual purpose, both art and amusement. The gods, in turn, recognize the familiar threads connecting all life, from the richest loam to the highest seat upon Olympus. As Demeter returns to her seat, cradled by nature's ephemeral embrace, a crown of wreaths anew, the camaraderie amongst the gods blooms much like the greenery of her performance. Hera, witnessing another testament to talent's sincere celebration, beams at the profound simplicity that binds even clashing elements into a harmonious tale. Through laughter, entwined with surprise, Olympus bears witness to one more story inscribed within the tranquil hours, as vines tickle and flora flourishes upon a cosmic canvas. This festival of divine narratives grows richer, compiling its anthology, chapter by glittering chapter. While vine-draped laughter echoes gently across the eternal vistas of the immortal, each performance fosters unity, honoring simply shared experiences that deliver the most unforgettable stories within the boundless realm of imagination and myth. As the last tendrils of Demeter's spontaneous jungle recede, leaving the stage tinged with a gentle organic grace, attention shifts toward the lesser seen yet pivotal figures of Olympus, the minor gods. Tasked now with proving their mettle, these deities, who often reside in the shadows cast by their renowned relatives, step tentatively into the spotlight that holds such promise. Ever the catalyst for both competition and cooperation, Hera, with a knowing glance, encourages their participation in a collective performance, an ensemble piece that speaks to their strengths and nuances, often overlooked amidst the grand exploits of more heralded figures. The stage transforms once more into a showcase of diverse talents. As if summoned by Hera's subtle direction, Eos, goddess of dawn, bathes the audience in her rosy light, signaling the start with a soft dawn that rolls gently across the divine amphitheater. Accompanied by her siblings, the winds, they sweep the stage with gusts that dance playfully through the gentle morning light. Next comes Helios, the god of the sun, whose radiant presence complements the morning energy. In harmony with Artemis, the moon goddess, they conduct a celestial duet, day meeting night in an exquisite display that reminds all how these cycles govern existence itself. The light and shadow choreography paints a cosmic ballet across the sky, stirring applause from their gathered peers. Among this collaboration stands Hecate, goddess of magic and crossroads, enveloped not only in the cloak of cult nocturne, but in the whispers between realms. With subtle hand gestures, she conjures ethereal orbs of light, symbols of mystery and guise, merging them into a luminescent playground of clever misdirection. Yet beneath the splendor and light play, a humorous contrast emerges. The lesser gods, often overshadowed by their grandiose kin, find themselves stumbling over one another's nuances. Where Helios waves low, Nyx, the night embodied, mischievously dims the sheen just a breath too far, teasing performances with midnight's embrace. "Behold," quips Hermes, his words a feather aloft, not merely gods of whispers and shadows, but of life and light, bound in myth's embrace, even as they stumble through merriment and moonshine. There's a playfulness within the gathering that Hephaestus, armed once more with his subtle humor, shapes into positive encouragement, a brotherly nod to demure siblings sparkling under the weight of their shared talents. "Perchance," he muses gently, crafting light from his whispers, "there lies magic not only in what's perfected, but in what we discover when error becomes art." It's this balance of grand spectacle and modest achievement that reminds the pantheon of enduring engagement. Not every tale demands heroics. Some simply require a mixture of light and perspective, the ability to appreciate these moments not solitary but shared. A true exhibition in collaboration, the performance exudes the enthusiasm of divine kinship, filling Olympus with the laughter of those honoring kin and craft alike. The entwining salutes paint a tapestry vibrant and aspirational, and perhaps hint ever so gently towards envy, irony, or wistfulness, reminding listeners of the ever-shifting landscape of myth and melody. As the minor deities slip back into their familiar folds, the warmth of collective applause accompanies them, not as lesser among grand, but as integral notes within their harmonious celestial harmony. Hera's proposition has thus far remained poised across tradition and intrigue, daring to balance the impulse for controversy with fellowship won through shared pursuit, each a star among mythic constellations. In this tableau of divine unity, the narrative finds itself enlivened, tethering loose ends born into song, each harmony a pledge already inscribed within sacred tree root and skyward tale. Through unity, the miner's performance thunders quietly, stunningly, ever light on the horizon of the mythic mind. Having witnessed the charming display of the often overlooked deities, the energy within Olympus teeters on the brink of enthusiasm and restlessness, as eyes turn once more toward Hera. This night her orchestration has flowed like a river through laughter, awe, and the unexpected detours that make a story linger long after its telling. Yet, keenly feeling the pulse of her audience, Hera recognizes the wind shifting, signaling it's time for another twist in their celestial soiree. Standing amidst the divine assembly, a glint in her eyes reveals a spark of innovation. In her heart, always touched with a hint of drama, lurks an improvisational spirit, eager to bind every odd performance, every shared gaffe into a seamless conclusion. Hera waves her hands with deliberate grace, her voice uniting the gods and reinvigorating the gathered myriad. "Friends and kin," she begins, each word a gentle breeze gathering strength. "Our night has woven a tapestry as resplendent as the stars above. But let us not conclude without one final act, a gathering of talents bound by the ties of camaraderie." Her cryptic call to congregate once more swells across Olympus, a subtle invitation and yet a demand to embrace whimsy. "We shall form an ensemble, and none who have gathered shall remain uninvolved." Hera declares with a command that brooks no dissent. The idea is met with laughter but also agreement, for tonight is none to refuse the divine queen her bold pronunciations. In moments, a stage that had been so many things, a battleground, a forest, a trickster's playground, becomes a vibrant tableau of divine cooperation. The deities, each with their own unique talents and delightful quirks, contribute their gifts into this spontaneous and grand finale, an improvised divine talent show within a talent show. A cacophony of celestial sounds erupts. Apollo's lyre blends with Hermes' whimsical tricks, ringing echoes patterned by Athena's owl and Hecate's mysterious orbs. Poseidon, reclaiming liquid grace, commands a tide of effervescent syncopation, while Demeter's vines unite in a serene embrace with Hephaestus's pulsating creations, conjuring harmonies unexpected. As the constellations take their cue from this grand rehearsal, Dionysus, part orbit, part trickery, summons libations reed in gentle euphoria, weaving laughter into the very fabric of this divine tableau. All the while Aphrodite flits between partners, mirroring beauty's aspect amid primal celebration. Witnessing this, Zeus harbors a quiet amusement, one heavy with the knowledge of countless millennia. The spectacle, the identity and character so implicit among Greek mythology's deepest threads, is itself a tapestry rich with contrast and perspective. More than merely observing, Zeus leans over to Hera, his voice tender in humor. "A grand ensemble, my queen. Perhaps we mortals will seek ways to replicate it through their own arts." In this lightning-wrought jubilee, Hera stands alongside Zeus, her gaze twinkling with the fulfilled joy of a conductor amidst the crescendo of a symphony. What began as her impromptu dream is now alive with mythic vigor and vivid camaraderie, its heady brew a narrative to be cherished among the stars. As the final notes soar and magic fraternizes with memory, the gods unwind under the surreal simplicity of a shared watch, not told in solemn tones, but in laughter wrought alongside mythic pulse and presence are these stories binding heaven and earth alike. Through Hera's catalytic dream of unified artistry, this evening has woven a legacy that encompasses all, divine kin clad not merely in garlands of myth but joy, reaching simultaneously towards the persisting dawn. In their hearts, they hold closely their newly inscribed episodes, lively memories marking that oft-considered boring Greek night when tales of talent twined anew, heralding myth's own ethereal joy. With the heavy air of collaboration impressing its sweet warmth across Olympus, it seems fitting that the evening should reach a shimmering climax. Enter Dionysus, the god of wine, revelry and pleasure, who stumbles, or rather flows, onto the stage with a grace that teeters delightfully close to chaos. In his hands rests a goblet brimming with the spirited nectar for which he's famed, an innocuous charm that promises mischief, excitement, and inevitable folly. The idea of a talent show in such divine company naturally serves as the perfect prelude to Dionysus' act. His presence in any gathering invariably spurs it beyond entertainment, bordering on the euphoric, the wild, and the whimsically surreal. As if ordained, the atmosphere teeters on the edge of ecstatic, the gods sensing that the night is fast spinning toward an unforgettable denouement. Dionysus begins with a merry announcement, his voice a rollicking song that fills Olympus with divine amusement. Ladies and lords of Olympus, let us finalize this splendid night with music that promises more than a mere serpent's sibilance. He raises his goblet high, a liquid mirror reflecting their enraptured gazes and twinkling stars. With a cascade of your imagined grace, Dionysus offers his own immersion within liquid joy. The god orchestrates his act with an array of sounds, the clinking of glasses blending seamlessly with alluring melodies played on the panpipes, and startlingly, an impromptu drumbeat on an overflowing cask of wine. Dionysus' command over the stage is effortless, his motions a curious mixture of erratic spontaneity and intoxicating rhythm. This, you might observe, is less a performance, and more an unfolding journey into the heart of frolic, another layer of myth scripted by this celestial mischief maker. Paired with his vibrant convocation, a procession of satyrs, his longtime companions in merriment, jumps forth, lending frenetic energy to the proceedings. They dance with abandon, showcasing a tribal routine pitched perfectly between mastership and mirth, their wild maneuvers painting with colors unseen between firmament and earth's verdant hues. Backed by swirling song, Dionysus invites even the clouds to join in the jubilance. The festive air thickens as goblets refill themselves unaided, each sip infusing Olympian bellies with a warmth that transcends mere poetry. Gods and goddesses begin swaying subconsciously to the beat, intoxicated less by spirits of wine and more by the atmosphere of uproarious unity. It's as if the very notion of boring fades away, consumed by the fervent pulse of Dionysus' divine madness. Here is Olympus, a realm too often etched in solemn stone, alive with laughter, intertwined destinies, and liberated hilarity, wrinkled with the wisdom that even the gods are prone to surrender blissfully to abandon, once in a while. Yet amidst this confluence of revels emerges a shared wisdom pre-approved by eternity. Distraction forms the rubric that bonds moments together, rendering laughter the thread that stitches the quilt of godhood. Dionysus, through both actions and mirth, offers them more than spectacle, imprinting a memory of laughter and life's imperfection, declaring the divine art of jesting's vital grace. As applause rises like vapor into the starlit void, Dionysus regains his balance, improbable both through spirit and intent, emboldened by an insistent charm. The gods in attendance, like chords woven through heights unscaled, offer not just praise but join the moment, transcending performance to become icons of festivity. When Zeus raises his own goblet, smiling unabashedly at Hera who stands beside him, it becomes clear that the night has made enclave into the treasure of shared memories, tales forever ablaze with echoing laughter. Hera, undeniably pleased with this unexpected crescendo, surveys her assembled peers with grateful heart, her ambitions unfurled into living narrative, gifting the divine epic a sweeter tone. As Dionysus returns to sounds around him, Hera's eyes softly twinkle with dreams of legends spun beyond stars, a reminder forever inked upon this night's gleaming tapestry. By final send, Olympus is draped under a weave of both motion and memory, the sound and story of talent spun crisp into this mythic night renewed. The night continues its seamless glide toward the evening's grand finale, each god now buzzing with the aftermath of Dionysus' intoxicating joie de vivre. The stage, while still awash in divine cheer, is eager for one final act that promises to marry both the high spirits and hearty laughter shared throughout. It is Hera who, once again, deftly turns over the page of this delightful script, orchestrating the curtain call of not only performance, but reflection too. In this union of happiness and camaraderie, she beckons her celestial family to take one last collective bow, an act that signifies both closure and celebration. As if sensing this crescendo of togetherness, the audience rises in anticipation of the ultimate spectacle, a harmonious blend of every flavor and hue woven into the fabric of divinity itself. A thriving, unanimous pulse fills Olympus, and this pulsating joy reflects the synchronized rhythm beating between both heaven and earth. The spotlight dims to a gentle glow, and one by one, each god takes center stage. Apollo returns with his lyre, its chords calling forth the symphony of ephemeral threads that bind this cosmic tale together. He is joined by Athena with her steadfast wisdom, directing this event's concluding notes. Their sounds akin to whispers of forests waking with morning. Hermes, an eternal bard of memory, conjures his imagery with words to match the music, weaving stories that echo through the hearts of all, penning both history and humor in each breath he takes. It is his words that illuminate the intricate dance to follow, reminding them of the whimsical marches they've embarked upon. With elegance unmatched, Hephaestus steps forth, joining the chorus with the rhythmic heartbeat of his creations, each nuanced note a testament to human ingenuity and divine prowess alike. Next, Demeter and Persephone harmonize their touch, sprinkling Olympus with the fragrance of blooming fields and rich harvests, anointing the audience with the gentleness of nature's embrace. Even Ares, the formidable god of war, finds himself swept into the closing act, his armor winking under starlight, struck into harmonics by his fellow divinity's laughter. Eos carries with her the precepts of dawn, scattering the stage with the promise of emerging day, while Helios recalls the golden arcs of sunlight that paint the skies each morn. Together, lesser and greater deities embrace their roles as stewards of myth itself, crafting with their hearts and presence a grand, sweeping conclusion to Hera's once innocent idea, now immortalized. With the embrace of moonlight alongside the tendrils of Poseidonic play, this unity reaches its zenith, sculpting a night too charismatic to swiftly forget. Yet, beyond spectral movement and divine human touch, it is the ensemble's understated gestures, the arch of Aphrodite's knowing smile, the robustness of Dionysus' song, that elevate this finality into something stunningly eternal. Even Zeus, from his sovereign perch, seated aloft among the clouds with surreptitious jest, finds his voice joining the harmonic tapestry, enforcing its lilt with the resonance of promise, an unfurling gratitude nestled between song and starlight. What anchors this burgeoning chronicle is not fact but spirit, the palpitating essence birthed from heavens melding with earthbound dreams. These stories, lost in time yet dwelling evergreen, sing with love's refrain, revived in every timeless chord and verse threaded tonight. So by Olympus's spell, meticulously etched and transcribed in wonder, ancient worlds unfurl about spectacles, pirouetting on the hinge between history and fantasy's warm embrace. As the final notes soar, Hera beams, suffused with joy and the intricate completion of her celestial dream, bearing all towards a soft lull at the edge of dawn. This gathering is more than night, it is memory embraced, a vibrant tribute resonating within Olympus, held in each god and goddess's heart, as they savor the final echoes fading under the horizon's promise of dawn's advent. What remains is dearer than narrative alone, a poignant reminder that joy nests in the overlap of heartstrings' enduring melody, where myth finds its indelible echo across both earth and eternity. As Hera's divine talent show comes to a serene conclusion, there's a palpable sense of satisfaction enveloping Olympus, a collective exhalation as laughter subsides into contemplative smiles. The gods gather closer, each with a warm glow that rivals the stars overhead, feeling the pulse of shared myth and memory that lingers in the souls of both the audience and the performers. In this moment of quiet triumph, Hera stands with grace that speaks of fulfilled vision and infinite kindness. She surveys her celestial family, a tapestry of divine figures etched against the tranquil sky, and reflects upon the evening's unexpected turns and timeless joys. Each god, suffused with the evening's brush with humanity, a mirror image of the mortal life cycle they'd shared and celebrated, has formed a community entwined through both comedy and chaos. Even Zeus, proud and regal, remains inwardly jubilant, having relinquished his initial skepticism to embrace the unifying power of this gentle canter through the lighter side of divine existence. As the gods begin to disperse, the faint glimmers of dawn streak the horizon, pearly beams heralding the sun's ascent. The harmony achieved within these moon-baptized hours now guides them back to their celestial duties, yet with hearts fresher than before, wrapped in blankets of camaraderie and fond recollection. Though historians will surely ponder, or perhaps embellish, the tales spun this night, the true treasure lies within the bonds rekindled, and the shared understanding that simplicity and unity can etch remarkable legacies upon even the most unyielding stones of time. With gentle fading steps and the last embraces exchanged, the gods return to their realms, their laughs and illuminations echoing through Olympus like beautifully orchestrated myths renewed. Through silence and twilight, each remains cocooned in memory that withstands, not as magnificent overture but constant anthem, that even the mundane can cradle divine enchantment when hearts entwine. For Hera, this divine tapestry has not only spun laughter, but reminded her immortal circle of the joy nestled in mutual understanding, and the mythic echoes of even the simplest shared moments. Through tonight's journeys, from folly to fable, humanity to harmony, an everlasting narrative blooms. Thus, as stars gently blink back into the unassuming array of daylight, Hera's heart brims with gratitude. The myth she has woven not only preserves memory within divine notes sung today, but assures that the music of laughter's feather shall always find its way back to resonating echoes, sounded by the artisans of Olympus within both the cosmos and eternity. With one last lingering glance at her assembled kin, Hera moves gracefully towards daybreak, assured in knowledge that with talent and laughter painted across one canvas, Olympus will harbor forever an array born not just of power, but of shared moments and woven dreams. In these lingering moments, let your imagination ease away from Olympus, back into the comforts of your own tranquil space. Allow the gentle hum of nighttime whispers to lull your senses into a comforting embrace, much like the laughter and stories that have filled our evening. As you nestle into dreams of your own, imagine wandering through serene landscapes woven with the echoes of divine merriment, a garden abloom with the joy of those timeless figures exchanging moments of simplicity and delight. Each rustling leaf, each serene breeze is a reminder, an invitation to join these celestial tales yourself, even if only in the delicate threads of your sleeping mind. Breathe deeply, inhaling the soft fragrances of moon-kissed flora, feeling the calming rhythm of nature cradle your thoughts. Let the vestiges of myth, intertwined with the laughter and gentle lessons, envelope you in their tender embrace. As these visions drift softly across your psyche, they illuminate a universe where dreams find kinship with legends. With each gentle breath, allow your mind to relinquish the day, surrendering to the dusky currents of restful sleep. Embrace the quietude that guides you now, secure in knowing that old stories, woven with wisdom and whimsy, dwell deep within the reaches of your soul. The gods themselves have retired to slumber, their myths repeating softly under the cosmic canopy. May your journey into sleep be sweetly accompanied by the same ease and spirit, letting thoughts meander through realms where myth and memory harmonize, a tranquil reminder that even amidst the marbled halls of Olympus, dreams wear the most welcome crowns. Sweet dreams await, brimming with echoes that sing from time's cradle, a symphony for your resting mind to explore.